That temple is very metaphysical. You cannot go using this physical body there. Only on astral plane, the souls can visit there.
The astral planes or afterlife journey, was there anything in particular he would say about it?
While trying to listen in those silent gaps, I would listen the sound of Om, the celestial music which is going on and on and on in the whole existence.
His teachings were misunderstood by people. Would you think that?
Of course, I could grasp that he is not just my eldest brother, he is someone else.
Did Osho Master ever say that he's going to be reborn again? Namaste Swamiji, welcome to my podcast. Thank you so much for making it on this podcast.
Namaste.
Firstly, very curious to know about this enlightened soul and being Osho. For a lot of audience who doesn't or is not aware, I do astrology podcasts, and on my podcast I have covered Shri Osho Master's horoscope, and it shows the horoscope of an enlightened master. So all the more very curious to know about him and his journey. How did Osho get enlightened or realize that he is an enlightened master?
Well, it was the fortunate day of 21st March 1953 when he was about 21 years old, studying in BA first year. At midnight, he went out of the house and entered in Bhavartal garden. That's a famous garden there in Jabalpur. And he went under the tree of Molsri, sat down there in meditation, and then something happened which we can call enlightenment. So it happened at the age of 21 when he was a student, and he declared about this when he was more than 40 years. He didn't declare at that time, but people recognized that he is someone special. He has some special energy. When we come close to him, we start feeling a kind of awareness and lovingness and gratitude, and we feel joy and blissfulness and peacefulness around him. So there is some magic, some miracle in his aura. So people recognized it, but he declared it about 21 years later.
So for those initial 21 years, he did not tell anyone that he was enlightened. What were those 21 years like for him?
Well, he was just spreading the message how to be meditative, how to be loving, how to respect life, how to listen the divine sound. So after he finished his study, he became a professor in the university, and he was going all around the country to give speeches. He was talking to public at large. Almost 15 days every month he was traveling in the trains, going around and meeting people and sharing the experience. Of course, he did not use the name enlightenment, but he was sharing his experience, his blissfulness, and the methods how to reach there. So Osho's teaching can be called awakening. So he was spreading this wave of awareness wherever he went. He was conducting meditation camps where hundreds of people gathered and listened to him and followed the method of meditation. When he moved from Jabalpur to Mumbai, there he was addressing large audiences of 60,000, 70,000 people. He was giving his revolutionary ideas, not only about spiritualism, but any subject related with life and death. So that was his 21 years journey.
Very curious to know at this point, did Osho ever speak about his past life, or who he was, or his purpose of life?
Yes, he has talked about past life. I remember 3 incidences. Once he mentioned that he was murdered in his past life. He was very old. He was practicing a 21 days fast, and he was murdered on 18th day. So there were 3 days left to finish that practice of meditation. So he died. And in this life, he did not take any milk, any food, any water for 3 days. So this was something unusual, a child not sucking mother's breast for 3 days, not taking water, anything. So it was asked, how did it happen? Then he explained, he has to finish that determination of 21 days fast. He has done 18 days in past life, so he finished those 3 days in this life. Another story of past life is concerned where he was a master in Tibet with the lamas. And actually this was not disclosed by himself directly. One sannyasi, his name is Swami Govind Siddharth from Mumbai, he went to meet some lama in Dharmshala. And when the lama looked at the picture of Osho in his mala, he was surprised and he said, who is this? So Govind Siddharth told, this is my master, his name is Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh in those days. The lama recognized by the photograph, that is, he said, this is my master also from past life. And his statue is there in Tibet in a temple. That temple is very metaphysical. You cannot go using this physical body there. You cannot enter in that temple. Only on astral plane, the souls can visit there. And there are 99 statues of the enlightened master of Tibet, and one of them is Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. So the Lama explained. Later on, Govind Siddharth was interviewed by many magazines and newspapers, and he narrated this story. So all the people who loved Osho, they came to know about this, but Osho didn't say anything for a long time. Then it happened that there is sannyasi Swami Anand Vijay in Jabalpur. He has made a new ashram, and that ashram, he was practicing dynamic meditation in which the mantra of who is used. This is the last part of Allahu. It is a Sufi mantra. So in dynamic meditation, we use the sound of who. Swami Anand Vijay became very sick. He had high fever. And in the fever state, he realized that some bad souls have come, some ghosts, and they are saying that you should not make this sound here. It disturbs us. We are ghosts, and that's why we have made you sick. You are suffering from fever. And if you will continue this meditation, you are going to be killed. So when Anand Vijay recovered from fever, he wrote a letter to Osho mentioning what has happened to him. Osho sent his message that you continue the meditation. Don't worry about those ghosts. So Anand Vijay and his friends continued meditation there. After some days, he again suffered from high fever. Meanwhile, he has read about this Lama's story of Tibet. So next time when he was suffering from fever, again some good souls came. And they said, we are not those ghosts. Those ghosts have withered away. They have gone away from here. And we are giving thanks to you. It's only because of your mantra who they are gone from here. And now this place is full of positive energy. We are good souls and we will help you in your spiritual journey. So Anand Vijay was not sure whether this is a dream or something real is happening. So for confirmation, he said, just few days ago, I have read in a magazine that Osho was a Lama in his past life and his statue is there in Tibet. Can you take me there? Because nobody can reach there by physical body, only on astral plane that is possible. So those good souls told him, yes, we can take you there. So suddenly he was there in Tibet. He looked at the statues. He recognized Osho. Osho's statue was on third number out of those 99. So returning back, he wrote a letter to Osho again that I have seen your statue there. It is number 3. And I want to make confirmation from you whether this is true or not. Because I can't understand whether it was a dream or it was something real. Then Osho mentioned in a discourse, he was taking a meditation camp there, and he just mentioned in the discourse that I have received this letter from Anand Vijay, and I want to tell him that yes, it is an authentic experience. You have been there, but you made a mistake. My statue is not number 3, it is number 97. You have counted from the other way. Out of those 99s, it is 97th number. So this is how Osho confirmed about this previous life. And once more, he has mentioned at the time of Bodhidharma, you may have heard the name of Bodhidharma. He was a great Buddhist master who traveled from South India to China, and he took the Buddha Dharma to China. Osho has mentioned when Bodhidharma was traveling towards China, I was there with him for a few days. I traveled with him. So I remember these 3 incidents where Osho has mentioned about his past life. Of course, these are only small glimpses. He didn't say about in details. So in one life, he was murdered at old age. In one life, he was in Tibet. And in one life, he traveled with Bodhidharma. So he didn't mention in details.
So what was the purpose of Osho's incarnation in this lifetime?
As Osho has mentioned himself, when somebody feels joy without any reason, the ultimate bliss, Param Anand, there is a tendency of bliss to spread. It is just opposite of the depression. When somebody is in depressive mood, he wants to be alone, left alone. He doesn't want to meet anybody. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to come out of the house. He doesn't want friends. He doesn't want anything. He is in depression. He just wants isolation, aloneness. Nobody should disturb him. Just the opposite happens when somebody is full of bliss. Bliss wants to spread. It is like a fragrance spreading from the flower. The flower has blossomed, and of course the fragrance has to spread all around. It is just like sunrise, and the light rays have to go to the whole existence. So this is very natural when somebody is full of joy and bliss. He wants to meet people, he wants to share his experience, he wants to tell them how it has happened to him and how it can happen to everyone. So that's the purpose of reincarnation. And please remember, reincarnation is something natural, it happens to everyone. Everybody is reincarnated. We are not new souls. We have been here since long time, and we will be here for very long, unless we become free from the bondage of all karmas and we get rid of this vicious circle of life and death. We will get birth again and again and again. But of course, those who have become full of bliss, they do not take new birth out of desire. Normal human beings take birth out of desire. They want something. They have some ambition to fulfill. And that can be fulfilled only as a human being, so they will take the form of a human being. One who has become enlightened, now he doesn't want anything for selfish purposes, but he wants to share. He is full of compassion. So blissfulness and compassion, they happen together. A blissful person is bound to be very loving and very compassionate. So out of compassion, he takes rebirth. Compassion is also a desire, remember. Not for selfish purposes, but to help others, for the benefit of others. But still it is a desire. And sooner or later, even that desire will disappear. Then that person cannot take birth anymore. Now he will be totally free from the bondage of life and death, from this circle. So Osho's this birth was with a special purpose, to spread the message of spirituality, to awaken people, to make them aware what the treasure of bliss they are carrying within themselves.
Beautiful. Did Osho Master ever say that he's going to be reborn again?
Oh yes, he has mentioned in different situations, he has given two different statements. I will tell you the both. You know Osho, he always contradicts himself. Once he has said, yes, I will come back. It is possible to take one more birth. My compassion is not over yet, and I have this unfulfilled work. So there will be many people on the path I have shown to them. They are walking on it. Their journey will not be finished. So I will come back to help them again, so they can finish the journey and reach to the ultimate goal. So this was in 60s. Late in 80s, he just made a contradictory statement that this is my last life. I'm not going to come back again. Later on, somebody asked that you have made two statements which contradict each other. Then he said, the first statement was made for those people who had just started their spiritual journey. And I wanted to make them feel comfortable, even if they cannot finish their journey in this life. I will be there again to help them. So this was about 20 years ago. And what I am saying now to my sannyasins, to my disciples who have traveled a long path and they are coming close to their final destination, and I want to make it urgent for them that I am not going to come back. So whatever you have to do, do it now. Be as meditative as you can. Be as loving as you can, because this is my last journey. So both the statements have their own purpose. Once it was to help, to support, and the other one was to create urgency and emergency. So don't postpone meditation. Do it now. This is the last time.
Yes. What did Sri Osho have to say about, the astral planes or afterlife journey? Was there anything in particular he would say about it?
Sometimes he has mentioned in brief, because he wants to emphasize that we should respect the life we are living. So he doesn't want to talk much about something beyond it. So let us live this life with full respect, with full intensity, moment to moment. This is his main emphasis. So very rarely he has mentioned a little bit about what happens after we leave the body or before birth, but not in details, because he doesn't want to focus our attention there, after death. He wants our attention and awareness to come to the present moment, here and now. So this is the difference we can draw between old religious teachers and Osho. All old religions, they talk too much about after death, heaven, hell, meeting God, this and that, and so many other things. Osho doesn't go in that details because he does not want to make his disciples future-oriented. He wants to make them present-oriented. Forget about the past, forget about the future. So that's why he has not talked much about his past life, just few glimpses, few sentences. And similarly, after death, what happens? He had just mentioned in very short, not in details. So his main focus is we should live this moment here and now with full intensity, with totality.
What kind of, we know that Osho taught a lot of different techniques of meditation. What kind of meditations did Osho teach?
Osho has created many new meditation techniques, particularly for the modern man. The old techniques were not so useful now. He has talked about the old techniques also. He has given a long discourse series on Bhagwan Shiva's Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, in which Shiva tells Lord 112 techniques to Devi Parvati. So Osho has spoken in details. Osho has spoken in details about Bhagwan Krishna and his message on Gita and many techniques. Osho has talked about the techniques given by Gautam Buddha and Mahavira and Sant Gorakhnath and many other sages. But all those techniques were discovered for different kind of human beings. Now those kind of human beings are no more here. We are living in a different modern era. Our mentality is totally different. Our psychology has changed. We have evolved a lot. And so many things around us have changed. So we cannot practice those meditation techniques in order to reach the ultimate goal. So Osho has made few important changes in the techniques. Something before the technique and something after the technique. Particularly, I would like to mention, he has added some kind of psychotherapy and self-hypnosis before the meditation. Catharsis is one of the psychotherapeutic technique to get rid of unnecessary thoughts, suppressed emotions, etc. So the inner consciousness is clean. And then we can enter into meditation. Then we can easily practice Buddha's Vipassana technique. As we are right now, full of too many thoughts, full of suppressions, emotions, and whatnot, particularly after this information technology revolution. Everybody has got so much information. Because of all that thinking process going on and on and on, that inner monologue, we cannot enter into the meditative space, which means thoughtless awareness. Now the situation is changed. With the growth of civilization and culture, we are living very unnaturally. Something is going on inside and we are behaving and showing something else. Maybe I am very angry, but from outside I cannot express that anger. It will be unsophisticated. It will be uncultured behavior. So from outside I am looking calm and quiet, but inside I am boiling. Now what will happen to that emotion of anger? It will be suppressed and it will continue inside for a longer time. So Osho has devised techniques to express anger or whatever nonsense we have gathered in 24 hours. So for 1 hour, be relaxed, close your rooms. Better if it is a soundproof room so nobody can hear you. And just be natural. If you are angry, be angry. Soon that anger will be gone, finished. And then you can relax and meditate. So this is something which is added as a prior condition to meditation. Now you can sit down and watch your breathing process you can do Vipassana. And one more thing Osho has added, that's at the end of the meditation. Now just don't get out of meditation for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Be in a mood of gratitude. Celebrate, sing, dance, fill your heart with positivity. With this celebration, the meditation should end. So these are two things which are added by Osho, before meditation and after meditation. Of course, meditation is same as taught by Buddha and Mahavira and Krishna and Patanjali and Shiva. That is thoughtless awareness. Cessation of the mind is yoga, is said by Patanjali. So of course, nothing can be changed in meditation, but looking at the modern man's situation, much is needed to be changed. So these two things, catharsis and some other kind of psychotherapeutic things before meditation to prepare the ground, to clean the ground for meditation. Then number 2, meditation. And number 3, celebration with gratitude, with singing, dancing, music. So this is the format of Osho's meditation technique.
Would you think that somewhere along the line his teachings were misunderstood by people? Would you think that?
Of course, not little, but very much misinterpreted. And this is bound to happen because he is talking from another space and we are listening and understanding from a different space. He has entered into thoughtlessness, wordless awareness. He is in a totally different world. He is talking about the silence but using the words and the languages which we used. And we are not able to understand that silence. We are not able to understand what he is talking about because we have never experienced it. He is talking about godliness, the divinity, the experience of bliss. Our life is full of anxiety and misery and anguish and tensions and whatnot. How can we understand the language of bliss? He is talking about peace, and what we know is only restlessness, just opposite of peace. So there is bound to be misunderstanding. Whatever he says, the masses will take something else. They will understand something else. And this is not only true about Osho. The same thing happened with Jesus Christ. The contemporary people did not understand him. Same thing happened with Socrates. In Yunnan, nobody understood him. So this is what has always happened with the enlightened people. They are full of light. And we are living in a world of darkness. So whatever they say, by the time it reaches to our darkness, we misinterpret it. So Osho tried to give so many discourses. He used to speak almost 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the evening, 3 hours daily for so many years. Finally, in 1981, he declared, "Now I am going to be silent. A new phase of my work starts now. Those who have become meditative, they will be able to listen to me in my silence. I will not use any words, any language. I will just come and sit down with you in silence. And you also be silent and meditative and try to grasp what I am sharing with you without words. So no misinterpretation is possible. But very few people will be ready to get it. Only those who have become really meditative, they can grasp the unsaid teaching, the transforming energy of Osho. So he continued that for almost 3.5 years. So what you are saying is true. The people misunderstood. And even today, Only few people understand him, and we can say the same thing about the future also. Very few people will be able to understand him.
How did Osho influence your life and help your spiritual growth?
Well, I am 24 years younger than Osho. So when I was born in 1955, it was already 2.5 years he had become enlightened before that. So when I became 7 years old, able to understand something, I could grasp that he is not just my eldest brother, he is someone else. He is someone special. Of course, I could not put any label who he is, but I could understand that he is not an ordinary human being. What he is saying and what he is showing and what he is sharing is something unusual, something extraordinary, something unique. And I was very lucky to attend his first meditation camp at Jabalpur in 1962. That was the first camp. I was 7 years old. Of course, I could not understand what he was saying in discourses. That language was difficult for me to understand. I did not know those big words or philosophical terms. But what I could grasp is, after the discourse, he was conducting meditation. And it was very simple. I could get it. And of course, as a 7-year-old child, I didn't have much thoughts. So not much inner monologue was going on. Children are in any way relaxed, happy, silent. So I was easily getting drowned in that silence, in that meditative space. And his suggestions were very simple. He was saying, let your body relax. For a few minutes he will repeat it again and again. Your body is relaxing, your body is relaxing. Then he will say, now watch your breathing. It is becoming slower, softer, harmonious, in a musical rhythm. Keep on watching the breath. Your body is relaxed and breathing is becoming slow. It is getting further slow down. Keep on watching. Don't interfere with the breathing. Just watch what is happening. Then third suggestion he will give, as the breathing has become slow and body is completely relaxed, now your mind is becoming calm and quiet. And listening to his suggestion, his magical voice, the mind really became calm and quiet, thoughtless, free from the memories of the past and the imaginations of the future. And the fourth suggestion he will give, just enjoy this present moment with full acceptance. Whatever is happening, accept it. And you will be getting deeper and deeper into the peacefulness. This meditation camp was arranged at Agriculture University of Jabalpur, which was full of greenery. And there were so many birds chirping in the morning. And Osho would say, listen to this bird. Listen to the cuckoo sound now. Now this group of crows has come. Listen with acceptance. There should be no resistance, whatever is happening. The early morning breeze, cool air touching your face with closed eyes, enjoy it. Come to the present moment. And now the sun rays are becoming little warmer. Feel it. Just be here and now. So these four were the steps. First was the body relaxation. Second was watching the breath. It is becoming slower and slower. Third was mind becoming calm and quiet. And fourth was being in the present moment with acceptance. Don't resist. And then Osho will stop giving suggestions for 5 or 10 minutes, and we will experience the wonderful inner awareness, the meditative consciousness, peacefulness, blissfulness, for no reason. It is just our very nature. That is the intrinsic treasure we are carrying within ourselves. Everybody has it. And then Osho will insist, listening to the birds. Now listen in between two sounds. Right now, the cuckoo has become silent. Still there is a small voice going on. Listen carefully. And while trying to listen in those silent gaps, I would listen the sound of Om, the celestial music which is going on and on and on in the whole existence. So I could not understand the discourse of Osho at that age, but I could grasp this experience of meditativeness. So that's how my spiritual journey started. When I was studying 10th standard in 1971, I took sannyas initiation, and Osho gave me a new name, Swami Shailendra Saraswati. Since then, my intensity of meditation further increased. So this is how he helped me in a beautiful way, and he helped so many people in this way.
Swamiji, a lot of people come to the Osho ashrams that still are present in so many places in India. There are a lot of people who come with very wrong notions and concepts in their head. I want you to tell us today, how do you want people to walk into the ashrams? With what kind of concepts in their head, and with what kinds of expectations should they be entering your ashram?
I will suggest a person who is coming to visit a ashram, he should not have any concept, any expectation. Come with open mind. Come with open eyes to explore what is going on. If you already have some expectation, you have some conception, some misunderstandings, some rumors, if you come with all those ideas, you will not be able to see what is going on there. Something miraculous is happening, and you will miss the whole thing because you are wearing your own specs and they are colorful. You are projecting the colors of your own thinking, expectation on the reality, and you think this is real. If you are wearing red color glasses, then you will see everything red. If you are wearing yellow color glasses, of course everything will look yellow to you, but reality is not yellow or red. If you really want to see the reality, please remove your glasses. By glasses, I mean what you have heard before, your concepts, your ideas, your expectations. No, nothing should be there. Empty mind, full of awareness, a curiosity to explore. That should be the attitude of a real seeker, a spiritual seeker. Otherwise, you will miss the whole thing.
What are your spiritual advices to people out of your own experience? How should people look at spirituality?
My suggestion is very simple. As a scientist tries to observe and explore the matter, analyzes it, or watches the laws of nature, and tries to go deeper in it, what it is, how it's working. Similar should be the attitude of a spiritual seeker. You are the scientist of the soul. The laboratory of the so-called physicist or chemist is outside. Your laboratory is your inner consciousness. You are becoming introvert. You are going inward to watch what is happening there. And you should be just without any prejudice, empty-minded. No thoughts, no imagination, no memories, just ready to watch whatever is there inside me. And you will find the miraculous energy there, the life energy. You will find the life energy is full of bliss, expanding bliss, what we call Brahma. Brahma means the expanding consciousness, the expanding blissfulness. That is your reality.
True, very true. For a total beginner who's curious about Osho, which are the books that you will recommend them to read?
For English-speaking people, I will recommend few books of Osho. For example, The Orange Book, Meditation, the First and Last Freedom, Dhammapada, The Way of the Buddha. For Hindi-speaking people, I will recommend Dhyan Sutra, ध्यान योग प्रथम और अंतिम मुक्ति, एक ओंकार सतनाम. And there are many books. Osho has produced 650 books. So if you are belonging to some particular religion, you believe and trust some scriptures, please read Osho's commentary on that scripture. For example, if somebody is a Hindu and trusts Gita, okay, then you should read Osho's Gita Darshan. If you are born in a Jaina family, you should read Osho's books on Mahavir Vani, Jin Sutra, Panch Mahavrat, like that. If you are a Sikh, read Osho's commentary on Japji Sahib, titled as Ek Onkar Satnam. If you are a worshipper of Shiva, I would recommend go to Osho's book, The Book of the Secrets, in which Osho has explained 112 techniques given by Shiva to Devi Parvati. So similarly, there are so many books in different dimensions. So, to whichever you have a liking, please go to that book. So, there is a huge collection of Osho's book, 650. I think nobody has written so many books ever before. And I don't think that anybody will be able to write so many books. Actually, Osho did not write. He was just speaking, and whatever he said, later on it was compiled, edited, and turned into a book form by his disciples. That's how so many books were possible. So, please read the book of your choice, and I have already given my recommendation for newcomers. Dhyan Sutra, Dhyan Yog Pratham or Antim Mukti. All these books are freely available in digital format on the website of oshofragrance.org, and all these 6,000 discourses in audio forms are also available on the website oshoworld.com. So you can just listen the discourse right there, or you can download in your mobile or your laptop, whatever you can. So all these things are available free of charge. All his books, all his audios, videos, photographs, meditation musics, etc.
What about the meditation techniques? Like if somebody wants to learn meditation, is it available online?
Meditation online is a little difficult. We are trying to make it possible, but I will say it is a little difficult, but it is something practical. Reading a book is perfectly okay, you can do it at home, but meditation needs a little practical guidance. So in the presence of someone who is meditative, in a meditative group, in an ashram, in a meditation center, it is easier. At least for the first time, please go to some ashram, some Osho meditation center. There you can learn easily. Once you have learned, then you can practice at home. So I recommend for the first time, one should try in presence of somebody who is teaching you, who can tell you what is, if you are doing something wrong or right. That will help. And in a group, it is easier. As I have mentioned, there is catharsis and there is celebration and dancing and singing and music. I don't think you will be able to manage it at home. But in a ashram, it is easily possible. You are accepted as you are. If you are angry and shouting, nobody will object you because everybody has come for the same purpose. To get rid of this madness. In your home, it will be difficulty for other people. So first time, please learn meditation in a commune or ashram or meditation center, and then we are conducting online meditation classes 4 times in a week. Starting from every Tuesday, a new class starts. So you can join there and you can practice at home as well. Again, I will repeat, at least once you should come to ashram or meditation center to learn the practicality of meditation.
Definitely, Swamiji. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for this enlightening podcast session and for letting us know about the beautiful life of Sri Osho and a lot of mystery attached to it. And we've discussed such beautiful topics today about his past life, his teachings, and it was truly an honor to interview you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pritika.